The report quoted an unnamed presidency source as saying compelling details have shown how several tranches of funds were illegally moved from the public by the Jonathan's administration, specifically ahead of the 2015 presidential elections. According to the reported source, the former National Security Advisor, NSA, Sambo Dasuki, personally supervised the physical transfer of the money from the CBN vaults to the private residence of the former president. In one particular instance, over $70 billion was released in parts from the National Treasury between January 8 and February 25, 2015. The over $289 million which was also referenced last week by the vice president is said to be included in this particular series of illegal transactions. Besides that, in another illegal disbursement, the minutes of the Central Bank Board meeting of 25 August 2014 indicated the board's okay of another N100bn requested by the former president and released later by the central bank, the source reportedly said. It also quoted another source as saying the sum was okayed by the CBN board and not tied to any project or procurement. The sum, it was reported, was meant and dispersed purely for campaign purposes, through the office of the then NSA and the SSS leadership at the time, adding that N100bn that was okayed by the CBN on August 25, 2014 was said to have been shared between the two security agencies, with N40 billion going to the NSA while N20 billion allegedly went to the State Security Services, SSS. While some of these newly emerging fund disbursements have been traced to the former NSA, there are indications that some of the funds are unconnected to the ongoing defense contract trials of the former NSA, while some might, the source was quoted as saying. The report gave details of the deal as showing that documents including cash vouchers indicate that $289,202,382 was released in cash to the NIA by the Central Bank of Nigeria from the joint venture, JV, cash call account number 000000011658366 of the NNPC, NOPIMS with JPMorgan Chase Bank, New York, USA. At the exchange rate then of $199 to a naira, $289 million was equivalent to about N100bn, the report said, adding that if the money was not stolen, it would be at today's rate over N104 billion. Again, the source said findings showed that in another set of illegal fund withdrawals under 1 week between January 8 and 16, 2015, N1.5 billion was released in 3 tranches of N300 million, N400 million and N800 million respectively. This money was released from the Me Research Library account to the Joint Trust Dimension reportedly owned by Danjuma Yusuf and Nenadi Esteruzman, the source said, adding that the sum was transferred to their various political associates, which included a former minister that is critical to President Muhammadu Buhari's government. Further findings showed that N350 million was allegedly transferred to the former minister through his Zenith Bank account number 1,004,735,721, on February 2, 2015. Also, another N250 million was allegedly transferred to him through the same Zenith Bank account on February 19, 2015. A document further showed that yet another N10 billion was released to the Office of the National Security Advisor by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, on September 15, 2015. The money was said to have been released in tranches of foreign exchange of $47 million, $5 million, $4 €4 million and €1.6 million. A letter from the office of the NSA in November 2014 further showed that the monies were released by the CBN as funds for special services, the report said. It then quoted a letter signed by the former NSA as saying, "Further to our discussion, you are pleased requested to provide the sum of $47 million United States dollars, USD 47,000,000 cash out of the 10 billion naira, and 10,000,000,000, and the balance in euro to this office for special services." The report said, findings have shown that this particular CBN release of N10B was sourced in November 2014 from the N100bn CBN released funds meant for corporate social responsibility. It was this N10 billion that former President Jonathan instructed the CBN governor and the then NSA to deliver to him personally in a private residence in Abuja.